Good afternoon. My name is Mary Myers. I'm the Director of Business Development at the Lake Superior Community Partnership. Thanks for joining us today. Today, I'll be going over economic impact studies and our tool M-Plan that helps me do those studies. An economic impact study can be done on an existing business or a new business or even an event to show the impacts your organization or event are having in the community. If you do have any questions throughout the webinar, feel free to ask those in the question box, and then I will get to them at the end. So M-Plan, as I said, this is an internal tool that we use to show the impacts of an event, a business, a proposed idea that you might have, a tourist attraction, really you name it. This is the tool that we use to do to show the data from those events. I've used it recently with clients to show the impact of attraction projects to help with their grant funding through the EDA or the state. I've also done a study on events like the UP 200 and the Hiawatha Music Festival to show the value of the event to their investors, and also to the city and the county to see what tax dollars they're generating from the event. So the tool does require inputs. So this slide shows some examples. Say you want to see the benefit of your business in the community. You have an expansion that you're working on, or you're just locating to the area. You can see here that putting in the employee number is good, but if you also gave me wages and corporate profit, taxes on production, etc., you're going to get a much better analysis than just giving me an employee number. So the general idea with this slide is just to say the more information and the more data that you provide, the more accurate and better results you're going to get out of the impact study. So we can help with events. This is an example of some survey questions that, just to show the basics of what type of data you would want to get out of your report. A lot of times events don't have this information, but they might have some. If you are an event that charges an admission to get into the event, that's good, useful information. But a lot of events that happen in the area are free to the public. So a good way to get data from that is from survey results. So here are some sample questions up on the screen, and we're more than happy to help you generate a more in-depth survey if that's something that you wanted to pursue. Also, one thing to mention, because so much work does go into the outcomes from this tool, these studies do cost, there's a cost associated with them. So just depending on what it is that you're looking for, feel free to reach out to me because that cost does range. So I am going to show you a couple examples. So the reports really can look however you want them to be. They can be short, they can be a one-page, which is what is shown here on the LSCP, or they can be a 7-page impact study, and I'll show a full report sample later on in the webinar. This is another example of what some of the data looks like once it's broken down. I'm going to show you the tool, but you don't get what's in the I'm not going to give you all of the information that's in the tool, just hand it to you and kind of let you go with that. I break down the information. As you can see here, the report has definitions so that you know what data points are and what I'm talking about throughout the report. So the report is really, I want to say user-friendly, but it's reader-friendly. You don't have to know what certain terms are. It's all broken down in the report for you. So with that, I'm going to go and pull the report or the tool up. I have 2 examples for you. The first example here is if I was doing an impact study for an event. Here you can see some sample data that could be collected from a survey, or it can be given from the event itself from your financials. All these categories, lodging, money spent on entertainment, groceries, etc., they all help show the impacts to the local economy of where that event is being held. Majority of the time, assumptions will be made based on data provided to me. So what I mean when I say that, an example would be, say that you do a survey, but you only get 100 survey results back. And you typically have 1,000 attendees at the event. What we'll do is in the report, we'll write out that we're assuming the 100 people that were surveyed and completed the survey spend the same amount of money as the 1,000 attendees that are there. So general assumptions can be made along those kinds of things, because you're never going to get 100% back on your survey results. So that's just something to keep in mind. So as you can see, the tool has different categories depending on what it is that you're collecting data on, which is really nice. So it puts it into a specific category so the results are accurate. And then once you have all of this information in there, I'll click view results. And I've generated this already, so I don't have to wait. But this is what some of that raw data looks like. Again, you're not going to see this side of it. This all gets put into a nice report for you. But as you can see from the sample that I did, this event would create 22.64 jobs in the community. It gives you the county, state, and federal tax results. So this is really big for grants and also for the locals so that they can see how much money is coming in from your event. This summary page just gives you a really quick snapshot of the top industries that are affected. So the top 5 employment industries, you can see the top 5 output industries. And going down, it gives you industries by estimated growth. So you can see that retail is really impacted by this event, and the information I put in, hotels. It gives you the amount of money that they're making. So there's really a lot of information that goes into this. The second example that I have is for say you're a new business and you're building a new facility. That's what this example is. The really cool thing about this tool, though, is you don't always have to have an exact dollar amount. So for this example, what I did is I'm saying that $1 million is what is going to be spent on on the construction of a new business in town. But I know that 50% of that $1 million is going to be new construction. 20% of it is going to be maintenance and repair. 10 is going to be put towards lodging, retail, etc. So what's really nice is, like I said, you don't have to have an exact dollar amount. You can use percentages as well for this tool. And then for the result side of this, I'm going to show you the output side of it, which breaks it down a little bit more. So this slide shows the top 15 output industries that are affected. So as you can imagine, construction is the highest because that has my direct input of 50% of the money that I'm investing into this project is in new construction. But it breaks it down so you can see hospitals, which you might not think of that. A new facility is going to have an effect on hospitals, but it does. Wholesale or other durable goods. So it really breaks it down further for you to see exactly what industries are impacted from your event or business. So the last thing that I'm going to show you is just a sample report. This is something that, like I said, it can be 1 page, it can be 15 pages. It just really depends on what it is that you need. But you'll get a table of contents, you'll get an introductory section, and then the general assumptions, as I mentioned. For this one, I did 3 different scenarios. So if that's something that you need, we can do multiple scenarios with different numbers. And then the report really just breaks it down, as you saw on some of those slides. There's a definition, and then what this data really means, how much, what the employment and the labor income is, what value added means. And then the next couple of slides are really dependent on what information it is that you want out of the report. So for the sample I just did, they wanted the top 20 industries that were going to be impacted. And then the industry employment, or the examples that I put into this one. So that is what I have today. I will check, let me see here, get back to my slides. Here is my contact information. If you have any questions, feel free to email me or give me a call. See if there's any in the chat box here. I'm not seeing any in that or the Q&A. So if you have any questions, like I said, don't hesitate to email or call. I'm happy to talk to you and go more in depth on what an impact study is. But I want to thank you all for attending the webinar today. Kept it short and sweet for you, so you'll get 15 minutes back into your day. But thanks again for joining, and I hope you have a good afternoon.